a co-art blog weekly review of trending stories. If you're a new subscriber or you're watching for the first time, this is a co-art blog weekly review of trending stories where we bring to you the juiciest and trending stories of the week.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of a Cohort Blog's weekly review of trending stories. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome on board. This is where we bring to you interesting, trending, and fascinating stories that happened within the course of the week that you may have missed. I am Tawakalitu Ashimi. I will be taking you through the highlighted stories for this week's episode. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Your allegations, a plot to destabilize Tinubu's government, APC slams Natasha. Federal government establishes NACO planning committee. Obasa officially reinstated as Speaker of Lagos House of Assembly. Sanwo-Olu encourages Muslims to embrace sacrifice, spiritual growth during Ramadan. Cable Vandal electrocuted, caught with 3 others in Ilara, Egbueje. Rep. Wale Raji welcomes Muslim constituents to Ramadan, calls for prayers for leaders. We are ready for any war. China sends powerful message to US. Trump issues last warning to Hamas over hostages in Gaza. UCL, Liverpool stunned PSG with late smash and grab victory. FIFA confirms $1 billion prize pool for expanded club World Cup. Burna fires back at Sophia over Lamborghini promise amid bold accusations. My life will be in danger if I expose over 21 actors who slept with my wife, Ijoba Lande. Now the news in full. Your allegations, a plot to destabilize Tinubu's government, APC slams Natasha. The North Central All Progressive Congress, APC Forum, has dismissed the sexual harassment allegations against Senate President Godswill Akpabio by his colleague Senator Natasha Akpoti, describing them as a ploy by the opposition to destabilize the government. A Cohort blog reports that in a statement issued in Abuja on Wednesday, the forum's chairman, Saleh Zazaga, warned against any attempt to incite unrest in the Federal Capital Territory, following protests demanding Akpabio's resignation over the allegations. The warning follows the Akpabio must go demonstrations at the National Assembly and various locations in the FCT, where Natasha's supporters called for the Senate President to step down pending an investigation. The APC Forum gave the protesters a 24-hour deadline to vacate the streets, accusing them of being sponsored to cause disorder. While putting the Nigeria Police Force, the Department of the State Services, DSS, and other security agencies on high alert over the plot to incite chaos in the Federal Capital Territory, the statement read. As stakeholders in the North Central, which includes the FCT, we cannot stand by and watch hoodlums and anarchists disrupt the peace that has been maintained since President Bola Tinubu took office. If they fail to leave in 24 hours, we will mobilize our people to counter them. The forum insisted that the allegations against Akpabio were fabricated to discredit the APC government, citing records. The group pointed out that Natasha was not the only senator who had their seat reallocated and questioned why she had not raised the allegations. Would Senator Natasha Akpoti have remained silent on the purported harassment if she had not been referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges for breaching Senate rules? The statement questioned. The forum praised Akpabio's leadership, stating that his tenure has fostered a smooth relationship between the executive and legislature, enabling President Tinubu's government to implement critical reforms. What is happening is a calculated attempt by the opposition to derail the National Assembly and, by extension, the Tinubu administration, the statement continued. Calling on party members and Nigerians to resist the alleged plot, the forum urged the Senate not to be distracted by what it described as Natasha's political maneuvers. Still on national news, federal government establishes NACO planning committee. In a crucial step towards advancing the power sector, the federal government has established a planning committee for the proposed National Council on Power Conference. Echo Hot Blog reports that Adebayo Adelabu, the Minister of Power, inaugurated the committee and emphasized the significance of the event in light of ongoing reforms and revitalization efforts within the sector. The committee tasked with ensuring a successful and itch-free conference scheduled for the second quarter of the year plays a vital role in addressing the sector's challenges and opportunities. Adelabu highlighted the importance of the NACOP meeting, stating that significant progress needs to be made since the last gathering in December 2022. He said, as we are all aware, this is the highest decision-making body for the power sector, so we have an important assignment at hand and not just a meeting. It must be planned and executed to ensure that the desired outcome of the meeting is achieved. The last of this meeting, I understand, was held in December 2022. So we have a lot of grounds to cover because it is supposed to be an annual meeting. We have a backlog of issues to discuss at the coming meeting and we must be fully prepared for it. Adelabu also identified the terms of reference for the planning committee. He noted that Governor Zulum has been a strong advocate for the power sector and has expressed a keen interest in supporting the event. Adelabu has tasked the conference planning committee with collaborating closely with the local organizing committee to be established by the Borno state government so that we can work together harmoniously to ensure a successful meeting. Adelabu also mandated the planning committee to liaise with all relevant stakeholders in the sector, including development partners and the United Nations agencies, to ensure a successful event, Adelabu said. Up next, Lagos news. Obasa officially reinstated as Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly. Mudashiru Obasa has been officially restored as the Speaker of the Lagos House of Assembly. His reinstatement came on Monday afternoon following the sudden resignation of several presiding officers during a plenary session. A cohort blog reported that the Speaker, Mojisola Miranda, had earlier stepped down amid a leadership crisis that has unsettled the Assembly. The political impasse persists as Obasa's previous removal left deep divisions within both the Assembly and the state leadership of the ruling party. Miranda explained that her resignation was meant to protect the Assembly, emphasizing a commitment by stating, "I take a bow as your Speaker." Prior to her departure, lawmakers took the opportunity to commend her legislative expertise, diligence, and overall performance during her brief tenure. Desmond Olushola Elliott praised her for her effective leadership, while lawmaker Temitope Adewale Fakojaye described her as a heroine of democracy, noting, "You came, you saw, you conquered. You're a victim of circumstance. This house is in tears." Still on Lagos news, Sanwo-Olu encourages Muslims to embrace sacrifice, spiritual growth during Ramadan. As the holy month of Ramadan commenced, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State urged the Muslim community to embrace the values of sacrifice and self-denial, a cohort blog reports. Speaking at a special pre-Ramadan prayer event organized by the Ministry of Home Affairs, Sanwo-Olu emphasized the importance of spiritual growth and reflection during this significant period. Drawing inspiration from the Quranic verse 28-24, "My Lord, indeed I am, for whatever good you would send me in need." The governor expressed gratitude for the opportunity to gather and observe the commencement of Ramadan. Highlighting the unifying power of Ramadan, Sanwo-Olu noted how Muslims come together to break their fast, listen to God's words, and remain in a state of prayer and grace. He expressed confidence that the teachings and lectures throughout the month would offer inspiration and guidance to the people of Lagos. It prepares their hearts and minds to receive the blessings of Ramadan, he said. The governor also highlighted Ramadan's coincidence with the Christian Lent, stating that this convergence promotes unity, supplication, and devotion among people of faith. "This is a time for us to come together in peace and harmony, allowing the season's teachings to reflect in our relationships," he said. He offered prayers for divine guidance and support during the holy month of Ramadan, expressing his hope that God Almighty will provide assistance to all. In his lecture titled "An Impactful Ramadan Beyond Mechanical Ibadat," Sheikh Al-Ustaz Yunus Al-Imam urged Muslims to approach fasting with intentionality and allow Ramadan's teachings to influence their attitudes and behavior. The event concluded with special prayers led by the Grand Chief Imam of Lagos, Sheikh Sulaiman Abao Nola. Up next, Egbueje News. Cable Vandal electrocuted, caught with 3 others in Ilara, Egbueje. Security operatives in Ilara, Egbueje have apprehended 4 suspected cable vandals who attempted to steal electrical cables in the early hours of today. One of the suspects, Innocent Victor, was electrocuted while trying to cut high-voltage cables, leaving him with severe injuries. A cohort blog gathered that the incident occurred around 2 a.m. when residents suddenly noticed a power outage. This raised suspicions, prompting local security personnel to investigate. Upon arrival at the scene, they found Victor severely injured from an electric shock, while his 3 accomplices attempted to flee. A Toyota Camry with registration number BDC22GX containing various tools used for the vandalism was recovered from the suspects. Confirming the arrest, a security officer said, "During our parole, we noticed the power went off suddenly. As we moved closer, we heard a loud noise and saw one of the vandals struggling with electric shock. His accomplices tried to escape, but we overpowered them and handed them over to the authorities." A resident of Ilara expressed relief over the arrest, saying, "For months, we have been suffering from constant power outage due to cable theft. It was frustrating, but when we heard the thieves have been apprehended, it was exciting news. We hope the law will deal with them properly." The suspects have been handed over to the security authority for further investigation. Authorities have urged residents to remain alert and report any suspicious activities to curb further vandalism. Still on Egbueje News, Rep. Wale Reji welcomes Muslim constituents to Ramadan, calls for prayers for leaders. As the Muslim faithful in Nigeria commence the sacred month of Ramadan, the lawmaker representing Egbueje Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Wale Reji, has extended his heartfelt Ramadan greetings to his constituents, Lagosians, and the entire Muslim Ummah. A cohort blog reported that in a goodwill message, Rep. Raji described Ramadan as a period of mercy, forgiveness, and spiritual renewal, urging Muslims to use the month for deep reflection, acts of kindness, and renewed devotion to Almighty Allah. We thank Allah for His grace and benevolence in granting us yet another opportunity to engage in fasting, prayers, and self-discipline. Ramadan is a time to draw closer to our Creator, show love to one another, and embrace virtues that promote peace and unity, is said. The lawmaker further called on the Muslim community to dedicate prayers for Nigeria's leaders, emphasizing that divine guidance is crucial for effective governance and national progress. Our country is in need of divine intervention. We must pray for our leaders at all levels, that Allah grants them wisdom, strength, and sincerity to make decisions that will uplift the nation and improve the lives of the people, Rep. Raji stated. Reaffirming his commitment to grassroots development, the lawmaker assured his constituents of his continued efforts in facilitating impactful projects through his parliamentary intervention programs, which focus on education, healthcare, infrastructure, and economic empowerment. My dedication to the welfare of the people of Egbueje remains unwavering through our various initiatives. We will continue to bring development to our constituency and ensure that the dividends of democracy are felt by all, he reassured. He also urged the Muslims to embody the core virtues of Ramadan, patience, generosity, and selflessness, while extending support to those in need. As we observe this holy month, let us practice kindness, show compassion to the less privileged, and maintain peace in our communities. May Allah accept our fasts, answer our prayers, and bless our nation with prosperity and unity, he concluded. Now, on to the foreign scene. We're ready for any war, China sends powerful message to US. China has issued a stark warning to the United States, declaring its readiness to fight any type of war in response to President Donald Trump's escalating trade tariffs. The world's 2 largest economies teetering on the edge of a full-blown trade war after Trump imposed additional tariffs on all Chinese goods. In swift retaliation, Beijing announced tariffs of 10 to 15% on U.S. agricultural products. If war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we are ready to fight till the end, China's embassy in Washington stated on X, echoing a government statement released on Tuesday. The remarks marked some of the strongest rhetoric from Beijing since Trump took office and come as China's leadership convenes in Beijing for the annual National People's Congress. On Wednesday, Premier Li Qiang that China would raise its defense budget by 7.2% for the second consecutive year, warning that changes unseen in a century are unfolding across the world at a faster pace. This increase aligns with last year's figure and signals Beijing's commitment to military expansion amid rising geopolitical tensions. While China presents itself as a stable and peaceful global power, it continues to highlight U.S. involvement in conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine. Beijing is also carefully calibrating its rhetoric, potentially speaking to exploit Trump's trade policies, which have strained relations with U.S. allies like Canada and Mexico. Despite the combative stance on trade, Premier Li reaffirmed China's commitment to economic openness, aiming to attract more foreign investments. However, concerns persist over China's slowing economy, exacerbated by low consumer spending, a real estate crisis, and rising unemployment. China has repeatedly emphasized its military preparedness. Last October, President Xi Jinping urged troops to intensify war readiness during military drills near Taiwan. The self-governing island Beijing considers a breakaway province. However, analysts distinguish between military preparedness and an actual willingness to go to war. The latest exchange of threats comes as diplomatic ties between Washington and Beijing remains strained. The Chinese embassy in Washington took another swipe at the U.S., reposting a foreign ministry statement that linked the Fentan crisis to trade tensions. The Fentan issue is a flimsy excuse to justify higher U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports. A foreign ministry spokesperson said, "Intimidation does not scare us. Bullying does not work on us. Pressuring, coercion, or threats are not the right way to deal with China." The embassy's post has gained widespread attention, fueling concerns among China hawks in Trump's administration, who increasingly view Beijing as America's top foreign policy and economic rival. Initially, officials in Beijing had hoped for a smoother relationship with Trump after he invited Xi to his inauguration and described their early interactions as a great phone call. However, plans for another discussion between the two leaders last month never materialized. As thousands of delegates gather for the NPC, China has unveiled plans to inject billions into its struggling economy despite boosting the world's second-largest defense budget at $245 billion. China's official military spending remains a fraction of the U.S. budget. Analysts, however, believe that Beijing underreports its actual defense expenditures. Still on foreign news, Trump issues last warning to Hamas over hostages in Gaza. U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a final ultimatum to Hamas, demanding the release of hostages held in Gaza. "I am sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. No Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say," Trump declared in a lengthy post on his Truth Social platform. His warning comes just hours after the White House confirmed it has engaged in direct talks with Hamas regarding the hostages. Until now, Washington has avoided direct negotiations with the group, in line with long-standing U.S. policy against engaging with entities designated as terrorist organizations. In his post, Trump warned of severe consequences if Hamas failed to comply, though he did not specify what additional support he was providing to Israel. "Release all hostages now, not later, and immediately return the bodies of those you murdered, or it is over for you," it wrote. Addressing Hamas leaders, he added, "Now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance." He also issued a stark message to Gaza civilians: "A beautiful future awaits you if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead." This is not the first time Trump has threatened Hamas. In December, he vowed that there would be all hell to pay if the hostages were not freed before his return to office. Trump's post followed a White House meeting with hostages recently released under a ceasefire agreement. Shortly after, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that the U.S. has been in direct negotiations with Hamas in an effort to secure further releases. President Trump is acting in the best interest of the American people, Leavitt told reporters, emphasizing that Special Envoy Adam Boehler's efforts were made in good faith. A Palestinian source told the BBC that two face-to-face meetings have taken place between Hamas and the U.S. official, preceded by multiple communications. Israel estimates that 59 hostages remain in Gaza, with up to 24 believed to be alive. U.S. citizens are among those still held captive. The negotiations, first reported by Axios, are reportedly taking place in Qatar, where U.S. officials are discussing not only the release of American hostages, but also a broader effort to end the war. Former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Mick Mulroy, stressed the importance of coordination, warning that U.S. involvement could complicate Israel's ability to recover its citizens if not tightly managed. Israel's Prime Minister's office confirmed it had expressed a stance on the talks but provided no further details. According to reports, Boehler has recently met with Hamas representatives in Doha, where the group has maintained a presence since 2012. The Qatari government, a key U.S. ally, has frequently mediated sensitive negotiations, including those involving Iran, the Taliban, and Russia, alongside the U.S. and Egypt. Qatar has played a crucial role in ceasefire efforts between Israel and Hamas. Up next, sport news. UCL Liverpool stunned PSG with late smash and grab victory. Liverpool pulled off one of the most astonishing smash and grab victories in Champions League history, snatching a win in their last 16 first-leg clash against Paris Saint-Germain, despite being completely outplayed. PSG dominated from start to finish, registering 27 shots, but Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson produced a stunning performance with 9 crucial saves to keep them at bay. Despite the relentless pressure the hosts to break the deadlock, and Liverpool delivered a sucker punch in the 87th minute with just their second shot of the match. Harvey Elliott, coming off the bench to replace Mohamed Salah, made an instant impact by slotting home from a Darwin Núñez assist, leaving the Parisians stunned. Luis Enrique's side was left in disbelief, unable to comprehend how they failed to score a misery with an Alisson-shaped answer. Ousmane Dembele and Kvicha Kvaratskhelia were particularly electric for PSG, with Kvaratskhelia having a brilliant first-half goal disallowed by VAR for offside. VAR also played a role in another contentious moment when Liverpool defender Ibrahima Konate avoided a red card despite shoving Bradley Barcola just outside the penalty area. Liverpool will now take a narrow advantage into the second leg at Anfield next Tuesday. Still on sports, FIFA confirms $1 billion prize pool for expanded Club World Cup. FIFA has allocated a total prize pool of $1 billion for teams participating in the year's Club World Cup in the United States. A source familiar with the negotiations told AFP on Wednesday. The amount surpasses the prize money awarded in both the last men's and women's World Cups. Despite limited details on how FIFA is funding the first edition of the expanded 32-team tournament, set to take place every 4 years, the organization has secured a major broadcaster and high-profile sponsors in recent weeks. British streaming service Dan secured exclusive global rights to the June 14, July 13 tournament in a deal reportedly worth around £1 billion. FIFA has also signed sponsorship agreements with Coca-Cola, Bank of America, Chinese electronics giant Hisense, and Belgian brewers AB InBev. By comparison, the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar offered $440 million in total prize money, while the 2023 Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand had a $110 million prize pool. Meanwhile, UEFA's revamped 36-team Champions League format will distribute a total of €2.47 billion among participating clubs this season. FIFA's expansion of the Club World Cup has drawn widespread criticism, particularly in Europe, due to concerns over player workload. The Global Footballers Union (FIFPro) and the European Leagues Association filed a complaint to the European Commission in October, accusing FIFA of exploiting its dominant position by overcrowding the football calendar. With UEFA also expanding the Champions League, several top players including Ballon d'Or winner Rodri and Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk have raised concerns about excessive fixtures. Rodri even suggested a player strike might be imminent, saying in September, "I think we are close to that. If you ask any player, he will say the same." The expanded Club World Cup will feature 12 teams from Europe, 6 from South Africa and 4 each from Asia, Africa and North and Central America. Auckland City and Lionel Messi's Inter Miami will complete the 32-team lineup. Despite the criticism, some figures in football have welcomed the tournament. Coach Luis Enrique previously expressed enthusiasm, saying once every 4 years there is this new, extremely exciting competition. Everyone wants to go to the Club World Cup. The tournament will be held across 12 venues in 11 U.S. cities, culminating in the final at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, the same venue set to host the 2026 World Cup final. Now let's take a look at what's buzzing in the world of showbiz and entertainment. Burna Boy fires back at Sophia over Lamborghini promise amid bold accusations. Grammy Award-winning singer Damini Ogulu, popularly known as Burna Boy, has raised eyebrows by questioning why someone loudly accuses him of not buying a Lamborghini. A cohort blog reported that this reaction follows a public call-out by Nigerian socialite Sophia Egbueje, who alleged that Burna Boy failed to honor his promise after an alleged one-night stand. According to leaked audio circulating online, Sophia claimed that the stand-tall crooner initially contacted her through a club owner to arrange a meeting, which was eventually delayed. After reconnecting with her, Burna Boy's invitations led her friend Amma Reginald to persuade her into an intimate encounter. Sophia later accused Amma Reginald of betrayal over her dealings with the singer, adding Burna Boy's keeps giving excuses, "So I blocked him and paid for the Lamborghini myself." Amid the ensuing controversy online, Burna Boy posted a new video on his Instagram account. Still on entertainment news, my life will be in danger if I expose over 21 actors who slept with my wife, Ijoba Lande. Nollywood actor Ganiyu Kehinde Morufu, better known as Ijoba Lande, warned that his life could be at risk if he names the man who had affairs with his estranged wife, Muibat. A cohort blog reported that in a video posted on his YouTube channel, Ijoba Lande disclosed in a recent interview that his ex-wife, who was a mother of 2 children before he married her, was cheating on him with other men, including 21 other actors in the movie industry. According to Lande, while Muibat often denied him intimacy by citing hormonal issues, she was engaging in extramarital relationships with other men. Lande expressed that the pain inflicted by her provocative behavior and infidelity was unbearable. He recalled, "Before my wife left, she drove me to the edge. She deliberately provoked me to eat her, but I refrained because it's not easy for a man to hurt the woman he loves. Despite everything I endured in hopes of keeping our marriage intact," he continued, "my wife, who used to claim her hormones weren't working when I wanted intimacy, suddenly showed high passion for other men. I will always have a fear of women." He also mentioned that he had not been intimate with her for 8 months. At his child's naming ceremony, one of her male friends even danced with her and inappropriately touched her, an incident that only deepened his distress. Lande warned that revealing the identities of the men involved could put him in danger, as many of them are well connected in the industry. And that's a wrap on this week's episode of Cohort Blog's weekly review of trending stories. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to always get notified. Which of the news is most astonishing to you? Tell us in the comment section below. I am Tawakaltu Ashimi. Till next time, stay safe and healthy.